Let's kick off with some other requests, and that is, of course, Nelly asked about Aspen. I mean, look at this chart. I mean, classic chart. All the jabs that's all along. I hear nowadays you need a number 3 and a number 4 and a number 5, and I made a joke. I said me and Erica would love to go overseas in 2027. Can maybe somebody just advise us how many jabs will we have from now till then before it will be safe for us to go? But on a lighter note, let's look at Aspen. This beautiful rally was ended by this candle right at the top. That is a classic gravestone doji and also a shooting star, because since then it went down all the way. It's some ugly sell-off. Now it's starting to consolidate. So Nelly, it's one of two things. It's either, I don't know if you want to buy it. You just said I must discuss it. There you are. There's the resistance line. And there's the support line. It's almost now in a position where it must actually tell us if it wants to go up or down. I usually use that, especially if you've seen a share have such a massive rally, a lamp-ball formation, it pulls back, and you see this consolidation. It just tells you that the traders are not 100% sure. And remember, this is a daily chart. So for me, Nelly, it must go above 249.56 to give us another push all the way up to that level of 260.21. But unfortunately, if it drops below 235.86 and it consolidates there, it can easily go down to this low, and that will be 224 Rand and 24 cents. So Nelly, there you are. If you want to buy it above 249.56. Make use of a stop loss of 235.86, and we hope it can go up all the way. Let's have a look at PPC. Rashid asked about PPC. Let's have a look there. I mean, that's one of those darks of the market that turned out to be one of the stars of the market. I can remember when we called the share a while back. I mean, that was a few months ago. Everybody didn't believe us. In actual fact, we also didn't believe the chart. We always see that happen. But if you look at it, massive sell-off. I mean, look at this rally from 348, Rashid, 567 in a matter of 2-3 weeks. Unfortunately, unless you want to chase momentum, then you can buy it above this resistance line. That's a different story. If you want to chase momentum, there you are. But look at this beautiful formation, what we almost say a beautiful, you can say saucer formation, strong formation, but remember it can easily pull back. But if you want to chase the momentum, chase it above 581. Where's your stop loss? Your stop loss will be 506. That's a rand stop loss almost on a 5 Rand 60 share. That's big. So if you want to chase the momentum, you can do. And what's our targets? It will be 625 and even 653. Nothing wrong with this chart. It just tells you that the momentum is clearly to the upside. The only thing that worries me, if it pulls back and it takes a little bit of profit taking, the proper support of this chair is almost there. And there you are. It's at 385. So just be a little bit careful. Let's have a look at Simon's request. And he's looking for Foschini. Let's have a look at Foschini. I mean, they're one of the retail companies that's doing well in South Africa. Nothing wrong with the company. In actual fact, they cash flush. And that's always a good sign. Well, let's have a look at this chart. I mean, this is a weekly chart, but I like this chart. And the reason why, there's the 40-week moving average. It tested it before, it bounced off there, it rallied way above that 40-week moving average. That's always a sign for me to worry about the chart, and then it pulled back all the way to go and test that. So I liked it. That's a strong support 40-week. But let's just have a look at the daily chart. I would like to see if it doesn't give us maybe a better signal on the daily chart. Foschini Group. Well, there you are. I like this chart. I mean, it bounced off that 200-day moving average, and that is strong. Look at this chart. Sell off all the way to the downside. Let's just draw in that resistance line. There you are. Just want to put it in there. I like that. And the moment I do this, you will see I'm seeing a falling wedge. Now, a falling wedge is usually a beautiful reversal chart. There you are. Falling wedge. breaks above 131.44, that's positive. If it carries on doing that and it consolidates above 131.44, we can easily see the share go back all the way back to 139.50. That's a nice move. On the other hand, it's also a nice and tiny stop loss. It's not like PPC where the stop loss is almost a rand. I mean, the stop loss is 126.54. And I mean, this looks nice. And let's give you the targets to the top. 133.74, 134.29, 136.78, and even all the way up to 138.50. I like this chart. It looks like it's a proper chart where there was some nice sell-off that took place, some profit taking. Now we've seen a falling wedge. A falling wedge we know is a reversal pattern, so it can easily give us a little bit of a bounce. So if you stick to your stop loss, Simon, I think it can work for you. Louis asked about Shoprite. Eloy, I hope I've got your name correct here. Shoprite. You are. Let's have a look. Also one of the retailers, I mean, it's doing exceptionally well. I mean, we all buy from them. Let's have a look. Unfortunately, this chart is worrying me a little bit. And the reason why I'm saying that is, what do I see? I see a head and shoulder formation. Now, unfortunately, a falling wedge is a turnaround formation where you see a relief rally. A head and shoulder formation is maybe worrying, and there you can see it. There's the left shoulder. There you are. There's the head. There's the right shoulder. We're busy working maybe on a second right shoulder. And where will this right shoulder be wiped off the table? The top of that candle. Above 186.80, we can maybe see it back all the way up to that previous high of 191.50. But unfortunately, the neckline is sitting at 176.54. If that neckline turns into a resistance, that worries me a little bit. Here's the projection from the top of the head to the neckline. Let's just extend that to the downside. And there you are. It can easily take the share down 162.82 if this neckline turns into a resistance. I just want to look at the 200-day moving average here, if you don't mind. I just want to have a look here. Let's do that 200-day. I'm going to put in another one. I just want to have a look here. Oh, you see what happens here. The share has rallied way above its 200-day and 100-day moving average. And that's the scary part of some shares. If this happens, you must know you can see every time that it gets a little bit too high from its 100-day moving average, it goes back. So the stock rallied way above its 200-day moving average. So it's quite simple. Be careful about the stock. It had a rally, and if this pullback takes it down, that 100-day moving average, that's maybe a proper way to buy it. But unfortunately, at the moment, the share is worrying me a little bit. It just makes me a little bit nervous that maybe the stock has rallied a little bit too far, and that's why it is showing some weakness at the moment. That's now Shoprite. Let's have a look at LC. Okay, transaction capital. Let's see. Transaction capital on a daily chart. Let's have a look. There's something about this chart that I've told one of my clients a while back. What transaction capital like to do on the chart is it rallies and it consolidates for a while. Then it rallies, it consolidates for a while. Now it rallied again. Now there's a consolidation again. I like this chart because what I like about this chart, every time that it gives you this beautiful rally, it's almost like the investors must digest that level. When it rallies up again, then they digest that level again. Then it rallies up and they digest again. That is always a positive sign. That just tells you that the company is on a good footing with its investors. It's making some good money. It's paying probably a tiny little dividend. Look at the dividend, is not a lot. It's 0.4. Look at your capital growth. Solid company. I think they sit on a lot of cash. I cannot say anything wrong about this chart. So I will say, while it is above that level, I will not chase it now, because I mean we already had the chase in the share price. If it gets below 41.33, I will get nervous. Otherwise, I'll just stick to the chart and I will be happy with it. Let's have a look at Goldfields. Goldfields. And Peter asked about Goldfields. He would like to know what is the story about the gold shares. I mean, some of the gold shares, I mean, Harmony recovered a little bit. Let's have a look here. Goldfields, there you are. Peter, we had a beautiful rally here for a few days. There you are. Look at this. I just want to maybe show you there. There's the classic shooting star. I mean, it was followed up with a bearish engulfing. That is classic turnaround candles. That tells you it can easily go back. And I will say it can easily go back to this support line. That support line waits at 127.24. So Peter, just sit on your hands unless you want to chase the momentum and only buy above that 144.06. In actual fact, I don't like to chase momentum, especially on gold shares, because sometimes you just buy it and then it starts to pull back. So yes, let's wait for it. Let's wait for it to pull back a little bit. And there's a tiny gap. There's a gap. 125.17 and 125.70 and 125.50. Let's maybe close that gap and then we look at the share. Unfortunately, my time is out. I tried to cover as many shares as I could. But, visit our website www.fransdeklerk.com for more info, and we will chat again.